There was an elderly Amish couple and their granddaughter who went to a department store for the very first time, and they were just amazed at all the stuff there. They, living in an Amish village, they had never seen a lot of it. And one thing that they were really mesmerized with, grandmother saw this older man walking with a cane, white hair, and walking into this contraption where the doors closed. And then she couldn't see him. And then a few minutes later, she's looking and the doors open and out walks this young, strapping, handsome man. And the granddaughter says to her, "Grandma, what was that?" And the grandmother says, "I don't know, but go get your grandfather right now." If only we could just step into something and have it remove years from our bodies, that would be something, wouldn't it? But life isn't like that, and life is not meant to be like that, because we are, hopefully, as we add the years on, we are growing, we are evolving, we are experiencing life. And with all of its ups, all of its downs, all of its challenges, all those things that are scary too, they all grow us. I just learned yesterday that there was a bomb threat at Meadowlark School in Erie. And so it was false. This was on Thursday. It was false. But those of you that have children there or grandchildren that go there, our hearts go out to you. We hold you with love and compassion and strength and courage. And if you're here today and that experience was something that affected you on Thursday, school's just getting started, and this is the beginning of a long school year. If you're here today, thank you for being here. You're in a place where we love you and want you to know that you're in a good place of support. And I hope that you feel that here. And it's also a good place to learn spiritual tools that can help all of us as we navigate this thing called life with all of its ups and downs, all of its challenges. And so thank you for being here. We can look at the world, we can look at life and think we really have very little control. That we're just pawns on a chessboard, like being moved around by life, and it can feel that way. It can feel that way sometimes. But in Unity, we teach that we have all these innate powers, that we are much more powerful than we even think. Much more powerful than we know, much more powerful than we ever use our powers. And one of the powers we talk about in Unity, our teachings, is the 12 powers, these innate abilities or faculties that we're always using all the time, whether we're aware of it or not. And one of these 12 powers during this month, we focus on the power of will, which is our ability to choose and our ability to commit and our ability to be willing. And I think for me, this is one of the most important powers, probably one of the more important powers of all of them, because in every moment we are choosing. Every single moment we are choosing how we're going to show up, what we're going to think, what we're going to believe, how we're going to express ourselves, how we're going to respond to life or react to life. We're choosing, and most often we're choosing not consciously. We're choosing by our habits, our reactivity. We're unconscious of the choices we're making. And that gets us into trouble sometimes. But when we're choosing unconsciously, when we wake up to it, when we're aware of it, we can realize that it's just a habit. That all of that reactivity, all those choices that we make without even being aware of it, they're just habits. And so we can break habits. We can change our thoughts. We can change our beliefs. It doesn't feel like it in the moment. It feels like we have no choice. But because of those habitual, that conditioned self that we show up as a lot in our lives. But when we wake up to it and we're aware of it, then we can make different choices. We can make better choices. Now, we've all been given gifts. We've all come into this world with our own unique set, our own unique mix of innate gifts, of light, of qualities. Maybe you come from a long line of people who looked for good in the world, who see good in other people. Or maybe you come from a long line of people who were afraid and think life is a hard thing, and you gotta defend constantly. Or maybe you come from a long line of people who think that there's lack in the world and there's scarcity and we're never going to have enough, and we're waiting for life to turn for us. We're waiting for God to come in and save us. Whatever you come from, whatever qualities you've received, are not qualities that you have to hang on to. We get to choose. That's our power of will. Our power of will says, I'm going to choose this one and release that one. We get to choose. We're constantly in choice, and our power is in that choice. So wouldn't we want to be aware of it, conscious of it, awake to it more often than not, so that we can choose what's life-affirming, what's uplifting, what serves us, what serves each other, what serves all of us. We get to choose that. And so when we are awake to that, we can look at, if there's something that we're not liking, then we can say, well, what belief is behind that? What belief am I holding that's behind that choice, that reaction? One of the ways that we can be aware of it is by looking at the words we use, looking at the conversations we have, look at the people we're hanging out with. What are we talking about? And so this has become more and more clear to me as we're talking about this year of possibility. If we want to be in possibility and know that there's infinite possibilities all around us, we can't limit ourselves and limit our thinking and limit our words. Mel Schwartz, one of the books that we've been using this year, in this year of possibility, is The Possibility Principle by Mel Schwartz. It's a great book. We have some in the bookstore. But he says this: the way that we believe the universe works, how we feel about others and ourselves, our beliefs and our relationships, all take form through our words. And our language imprints our brains. Our transition into participatory worldview falters when we continue to employ words that reflect the dogma of an entirely antiquated worldview. Now, I talk about this, sporadically, that we have this, we've all grown up with this mechanistic worldview, most of us, grown up with a mechanistic Newtonian worldview, which separates us, which is an either-or thinking, which puts us in competition, which says there's a reality out there. There's this objective reality out there, when in fact, and quantum physics has proved it, that we live in a participatory worldview. We live with a subjective reality. We create our reality with our thoughts, with our words. And so this has been something that's been kind of grinding on me, bothering me lately, is some of the words that we say here. And so a couple weeks ago, we talked about it in our staff meeting. And we talked about our offering blessing. And I said, it's bothering me, these words that we use that don't reflect what I'm preaching or what we're talking about. And that is God's love has always met and will always meet all my needs. To me, that sounds like there's some God out there that is going to swoop in and take care of my needs. And that is not our teaching. That is not unity teaching. That's not New Thought teaching. And so we want to say words that reflect where our beliefs are. And so my belief is not that. And so we decided in the staff meeting a couple of weeks ago that we would change the offering blessing. Well, I didn't take that the next step further, which is explain it to you before we do it. When you're going to make a change for a community, you got to kind of give some explanation. So this is your explanation that we're going to change it. We're going to try it, but we're going to try it in a whole different way. And this is what we came up with. Divine love. See, we're taking God right out of it because so many people have a problem with the word God. It means something different to everybody. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. So we're going to try. Oh, you like it? Great, because that was on me that I didn't explain it, but, okay, so we move on. I love this because this puts the power where? Back in us. We are it. We are it. Unity's basic principles. There's one power, one presence. Number one. Number two, we are it. We are expressions of it. And so the power is in us. We keep wanting to make God in our image, but we were made in God's image. We were made in the divine image, the divine ideal we talk about in unity, the divine ideal, the Christ. And so if you get nothing, I think, from unity teachings, the most important thing that we can all get is that there's no God out there. There's no God coming in to save us. We create our reality. We create our world. And so we have the power. It can be really challenging if you didn't grow up with that. I didn't grow up with that. It can take some time to get there, and that's okay. It's okay. But it puts the power back here, back in us. Jesus said, the kingdom of God is within you. Not that it's not out there, it's within you. This is where the power is. And so we want to be, with our words, choose our words to reflect what we believe, because otherwise we're saying words that don't believe in it, imprints, and there's not alignment. And so we want to choose that. Mel Schwartz also says this: what separates those who provoke change and summon new potential from those who continue to struggle is single-minded willfulness. Okay, we're getting back to the power of will. You need to infuse your intention with your unwavering conviction. Intention plus willfulness equals your potential. Now, the way he uses the word willfulness sounds like it's from the ego, right? It can sound like when we use willfulness, sometimes we think we're being willful, we're being stubborn. But in this sense, he's using it as be fully committed, be all in. Set your intention. This is your power of will. Set your intention and then fully commit to it. Choose it and commit to it. And this is what moves us forward. This is what makes a difference in our lives. And we get to choose it or not. We don't have to choose it. We can continue to live the same day over and over and over and over our whole lives. It's our choice. Mel Schwartz also says, instead of saying, why I can't, ask the question, why can't I? Is that little shift, just a little shift in words can make a big difference? Why can't I? Why can't I? a couple weeks ago, I was running, and I was only about a half mile into my run, and I fell. I haven't fallen since I was in my 20s. In my 20s, I was on a sidewalk. I tripped on a crack in the sidewalk. I fell down. This time it was a tree root, because I don't run on the concrete anymore, protecting my knees. But I tripped on a tree root, and you know that feeling when maybe you don't know, as you're falling and it's like slow motion and you know that you're going down and there's nothing you can do to stop it. And you get down and you're like, what just happened? And so I just paused, and in that moment, all I could feel was grateful. I felt grateful. I fell face first, but I didn't chip a tooth. I didn't break my nose. I didn't break my wrist, which I have osteoporosis in this wrist. I didn't break anything. And I had a couple of earth angels, beautiful women who stopped and said, "Are you okay?" and helped me up. And I walked around a little bit. And I was scraped up and bleeding. My palm and my elbow and my knee were all scraped up and bleeding. And, I'm okay. I'm okay. And I was only half mile into my run, so I had to keep going. Okay, that could be willfulness. I'm stubborn, I'm going to do this. Or it could be, it's a beautiful day. I am so grateful I'm not hurt. I mean, I'm scraped up a little bit, but I'm not hurt. And I went the rest of the run, my usual 3 miles, no big deal, but continued on. That was using my power of will, being committed to my body, my exercise routine, and wanting to be so grateful that it wasn't worse and that I could still move. Power of will, our ability to choose and commit and be willing. It's a beautiful thing for our lives. So we all have gifts. We all have amazing gifts. And we often think that we are, I think a lot of times we think of ourselves as pieces on a chessboard. Think about we're the king or the queen, or we're the bishop or the knight defending, or we're just a pawn on this chessboard. But I love how Benjamin Zander in The Art of Possibility, the other book that we're using this year during our theme, Year of Possibility, he talks about this is an advanced level, so we're all advanced now. We're going to be the board. We're not going to be the pieces. We're going to be the board. Now, this doesn't mean you don't take your ego with it and think you're the end-all, be-all of everything in the world. It means we give meaning to the game. We give the context. And context is everything in a participatory worldview. Context is everything. That way, both and. Nobody's wrong or right. It's all okay. It's based on context. And so Benjamin says this about being the board. The purpose of naming yourself as the board or as the context in which life occurs to you is to give yourself the power to transform your experience of any unwanted condition into one with which you care to live. We said your experience, not the condition itself. But of course, once you do transform your experience and see things differently, other changes occur. If you name yourself as the board itself, you can turn all your attention to what you want to see happen, with none paid to what you need to win or fight or fix. Oh, I love that. I didn't get that at first. I kept thinking board of trustees. Yeah, we get to make all the decisions. That's not what he's saying here at all. It's the board is giving meaning to the game. It's the game of life, not being the pieces. We do see ourselves as those at times. But give the context to what your life is about. You give it meaning. You get to give it meaning. We receive these gifts from our families, from our ancestors, and we get to choose with our power of will, what are we going to hang on to? What are we going to release? What light are we going to hold on to? What light are we going to shine? What light are we going to pass to our kids, our grandkids, our friends, the next generation? Today is the third day of 3 of a Japanese celebration, Japanese Buddhist celebration called Obon. And during Obon, the Japanese Buddhists honor their ancestors. They clean their homes, they prepare for them to visit, they sweep their graves, they set out flowers, and it's a celebration. It's a celebration. They dance and they have meals and they are joyful. And we can look at that in unity as it's all one life, that we are all expressions of one life. And so we celebrate that we had people who came before us lighting the way, showing us the way. We celebrate that we have people coming after us that we're handing down. We get to do that. We can choose to do that or not. There's a story of a man named Scott Stein who lived in Long Island, and his grandfather had a Japanese flag that was hung on his war, and the grandfather never talked about it. His grandfather was in World War II. But Scott knew that that flag must have come from some hard battle. Here's a picture of it. In World War II, the Japanese soldiers would carry these flags under their uniform. And the writing all on the flags are blessings and good wishes and good luck from their family and friends. It's considered a good luck flag. And the Japanese soldiers wore them under their uniforms to keep themselves in that place of knowing their families were with them. Now, Scott Stein didn't know this when he inherited the flag, and so like his grandfather, he hung it on his wall for a number of years. Not knowing the story behind it, not knowing what it meant. But at some point, he started realizing, and he chose that this wasn't appropriate, that we don't hang war trophies on our walls. That represents somebody's life, somebody's family. And so he donated the flag to a society called the Obon Society. And what the Obon Society does is they look for the owners, the families of these things, these war trophies. It took them several years, but they finally found one remaining family member of the man who owned this flag, whose name was Hayama, was the one who owned the flag. But it was a son who was 81 years old, who never knew his dad. And they gave him the flag, and he felt his father's warmth for the first time. And his mom never knew what happened to him, to her husband, to his dad. And she had passed away, and so he took the flag to her tombstone and unfurled it and laid it over her grave, and felt like they had completed the circle. He had reunited his parents. And Scott Stein, who had owned the flag in Long Island, felt a sense of good karma, a sense of purpose, like he had completed the circle for this family, to bring them together. See, we're all part of this one life. We don't know how we affect each other. We don't know what ripples we create or make or how we can bring it all together, bring it all back. In Obon, the final day, they do a lantern lighting. They light these lanterns, and it's to represent sending the spirits back home and sending them on their way, which is beautiful. And in unity, we can think about this as what light have we received from our ancestors? What light are we carrying now? And what light do we want to send forth? It's up to us. We get to choose how we do this, how we show up, what we do with the things that we've learned, with our wisdom, with our joy. And we get to choose if we want something to stop with us. Say you come from a family of people who hold everything in, and you want that to stop with you, and so release it. Don't send that one forth. So I want us to take a moment to embody this, to have an experience of it. So you all hopefully you got a yellow strip of paper to represent a taper, a candle. Did anybody need one? Raise your hand and we'll get the ushers to get you one. And there should be a pen or two on each row. Okay, so on one side of the paper, you're going to write a word, a short phrase, not a book. It's short. What's one thing that you received in this eternal circle of life that you received from those who came before you? It can be something you want to pass on or something you want to release. What's one thing you received? Helps bring us to see how we're all connected. And write that on there, one thing you received. And then when you have that, turn the paper over and write one thing that you want to send forth. Think about what do you want to teach your grandkids or your kids or the next generation or some friends? Who's coming next? Who's coming behind you? What do you want to leave them? See, our lights never go out, but we do share them. One side is something that you've received, and the other side is something you want to send forth, something you want to share, some light of yours that you want other people to embody. And then once you have that, we're going to send it forth. We're going to push it into the river and let it float. And we have a basket up here, so you can feel free to come up and put your light in the basket, sending it forth. And I think we'll let Rebecca continue or sing, and then as she's singing this next song, you can come up when you're ready. If you want, send it forth. We're not doing anything with these. We're not reading them. You don't have your name on it, I don't think. That was not part of the instructions. But send it forth while we listen to some more beautiful music.